Welcome back to BRMC's Healthy Connection. I'm Donna McMullen, your host for BRMC's Healthy Connections, and today our guest is Miss Jodi Owens. She is the coordinator for the Repel Diabetes Learning Center, and November is National Diabetes Awareness Month. Jodi, tell us about the things that go on over at the Repel Diabetes Learning Center.
Well, Miss Donna, we are an accredited course for folks with newly diagnosed diabetes. We offer some self-management classes on a weekly basis. We also have courses and different meetings for persons that have been diagnosed for a while that may have some changes or some things that they need help with. We offer a lot of educational information as well as some one-on-one training and some hands-on type things. We have some meters available for folks free of charge.
The insulin meter?
The blood glucose checking meters.
Okay.
We also offer some insulin supplies, not the insulin itself, but the supplies that go with it. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And just a lot of different various different things that we have there that are provided by our lovely companies free of charge for all of our patients.
Free of charge.
We also have a monthly support group meeting that meets on the fourth Tuesday night of every month in the large dining room at the hospital here in Mountain Home. And a lot of people don't realize that we offer that service as well.
I was not sure of that myself.
Yes.
So that's at the Lagerborg dining room at the hospital.
Yes, ma'am, at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. on the
fourth Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday?
Yes, of every month.
Of every month.
And we're just glad to offer these services because diabetes is such a growing epidemic, if you will, as far as our health care goes, and so many folks that are being diagnosed or that know someone that has been diagnosed that we can help. We encourage the support group. We also encourage a support person for anyone who comes through our classes, because a lot of times if you have somebody there with you, then what you don't catch, your partner
will
might catch
sure,
as well.
Sure. Now, you've talked about with patients. Let's talk about for a minute a couple of things. Now, is this strictly for adults, or when you talk about being diagnosed with diabetes, or is this also, are there classes for children?
Well, we don't currently offer any pre-existing or scheduled classes for children. We usually deal with the type 1s or the more juvenile patients.
Okay.
That's general population with type 1 is the juvenile on a one-on-one basis.
On a one-on-one, okay.
And that way we can incorporate not only their mom or their dad, but their siblings, because it really is a family change and a lifestyle change for the whole family.
Sure.
The little brothers and sisters and even the older brothers and sisters sometimes kind of get a little overwhelmed with all the changes that are going on, and our little juvenile patients are just so wonderful. We do have a support group. It's called First Class Flyers for our type 1s, and some of these folks are very young, but also we have some young at heart folk. So it just depends on which situation they're in, and it also depends on their family, and we try to meet and be as flexible with the criteria as we can, because a lot of these kids are in school full-time and their parents work full-time.
Well,
so that helps out, to being the flexible and the flexibility of the center. So
you'd also mentioned that diabetes was on the rise. Does this go hand in hand with obesity and the fact that we're all getting a little bit heavier around the country?
I think that our lifestyle choices and our lifestyle changes, be it as positive as it has been in the past several years, and a lot of the easier things that we have now.
Fast food, drive-through.
Yeah, and just the way of life that we have incorporated with the internet and the video games and things. We like to often laugh and say we know our kids are getting plenty of thumb exercise.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
Well, that's it.
And we can also see a bigger rise in type 2 diabetes with our younger patients as well.
And would you explain the type 2 now? How is that different from type 1?
Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder, which means the pancreas is no longer functioning.
Okay.
That used to be considered the juvenile diabetes because a lot of times they were diagnosed as a child. Now we're seeing that diagnosis well into folks that are in their 80s and 90s
Oh my goodness.
because of diagnostic criteria that has improved. On the flip side of that, type 2 diabetes, which is a metabolic disorder, has to do with the way our body processes the things that our pancreas makes, which is the insulins and the hormones. Now we're seeing that being diagnosed in as early as 7, 8, 9 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Because, like you said, of the obesity and the things that go with our weight and our lifestyle changes and choices that are so readily available to us, but also maybe not the best for us.
So when someone comes in and needs to be educated, they're going to be educated not only about the diabetes, but how to eat healthy,
Sure.
exercise.
Sure, all of the above.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm a registered nurse and a diabetes educator. We also have working at the center Jan Halligan, who is a registered dietitian. And I think a lot of times that's where most people have questions is, okay, now what do I eat? What do I not eat? And Jan is a wonderful resource for that. We're able to utilize her on a daily basis. Sure. and really pull from her knowledge as well, because with the dietetics and the things that come along with the nutrition is where we really get folks to make some lifestyle changes most of the time. And really most of the folks that come to the center don't understand the dynamic of what all they eat as it has to do with their blood sugar rising and falling. So it's a good way to incorporate just some general healthy living as well.
I would think a lot of folks would just think, well, if I just stop eating sweets, I'll be okay.
Sure, and that's a very popular myth,
Yeah.
and it goes hand in hand with the other, my favorite. Well, I ate too many sweets as a child. That's why I have diabetes now.
Okay.
So those
so
are
you
both,
do the myth buster.
Yeah, those are both pretty good myths.
Yeah.
Another favorite of mine is the all white foods are bad for me. And that's been a kind of a circulating rumor here for a while. So
Sure.
we put to rest some of those myths. Jan has...
You mean we really can have Wonder Bread?
Yes, Donna, in moderation.
Okay.
And that's really what we try to instill in our folks, that it is not about deprivation and what they can't have. It's more of just incorporating these things in a healthy balance, if you will. Jan actually works with each individual person for a meal plan, not a diet. We don't like the word
Sure.
diet, but an actual plan that goes along with what they actually eat every day. I mean, we live in the South. We like fried foods.
Yes,
we put
we
gravy
do.
on everything.
Yes.
And that's okay. And it's okay to have those things. It's just the portion
Moderation.
sizes and the moderation of that. And then the medications. A lot of times people don't realize that the things that they eat and their medications may have some contraindications. So we try to get with each person on an individual basis, depending on what their physician has actually prescribed for them. And I think that's, a lot of people find that beneficial, as far as, what's good for me might not be good for you, and vice versa.
Right.
So it's a good thing, and most people leave with a smile on their face and say, I really can do this, and I
Sure.
really can make it through this.
Number one, you're not alone.
Sure,
And number two,
exactly.
you've got all sorts of educational support,
Yeah.
showing you, teaching you how to eat well, how to take care of yourself in a much better fashion.
And I can come into that picture a lot of times as well with the monitoring and things, because we provide such a wide variety of monitors for our patients, and there are so many myths out there about those now too. So we kind of put to rest some of those false advertisements, if you will, and are really able to get down to the meat and potatoes with most folks.
Okay.
So
So
that's pretty...
Now, do folks come to you, are they referred by their physician? Is that how they come to you?
Absolutely. We take physician referrals, and as a matter of fact, that's how we can get someone eligible with their insurances for our classes.
Okay.
Now, we do see people as a walk-in basis. We're open at the center from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. And if I'm not there in-house, then there are some wonderful volunteers, and also my office manager, Miss Betty, that can help folks and direct them in the path that they need to go. But we do physician referrals for our Type 2 classes, and also for our Type 1 one-on-one sessions, and different sessions for folks that maybe aren't able to go to the group setting as well.
Sure.
So we're pretty open, and if someone calls or comes by, then we can obviously initiate that physician contact for them as well.
Right.
We are constantly in contact with the physicians in this area, as well as most of our surrounding counties. We even do quite a bit of referral basis from our endocrinologists that are in the outstanding areas around. So it's a pretty good resource, and a lot of times untapped by some folks because they're just not aware of what all we have.
It's what you have there, and of course that's what this is all about.
Sure, absolutely.
I think a lot of the listening audience, the viewing audience, doesn't realize that Baxter Regional Medical Center covers not only 14 counties, but 2 states.
Sure.
We take in a couple of counties up in Missouri, and then 12 other counties.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing when you realize, and really for an accredited diabetes education program to be in this part of the state is a phenomenal thing. We do not offer any services that are not accredited by the American Diabetes Association, so we are right there streamlined with that. And then also with the physicians and the endocrinologists doing the referrals, we're able to communicate back and forth, and the patient will even receive a follow-up 3-month check-in with us as well, just to check in to see how they're doing and if they need further help or if they need anything else from their doctor.
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of times we're able to bridge that gap as well. So
and their insurance covers this 9 times out of 10.
Most every private party insurance covers at least a portion of our classes.
Okay.
And Medicare also covers, and so that catches a lot of folks, especially the type 2 and the newly diagnosed. We also offer a refresher course for our graduates, if you will, and that is if a person has gone through the class and then has been out for a year, they can come back for a refresher session, and that's with myself and also with Jan. And that sometimes is good for them because in a year's time, so much has changed. They may have had something change in their life, and a lot of times the medications and the things at their doctor's office has changed. So even their medications have changed. So it is a good way to keep in touch and keep in contact with all of our patients.
Stay current on what's going on out there as far as the equipment goes, the insulin,
and it helps us motivate them. It also helps them motivate us to get out and answer their questions if they have them, and keep current on the newest of the new. So it's a very rewarding program for both ends, I think, because we're actually able to keep track of everyone and be able to say, hey, how you doing? What's going on with you? What else can we do to help you now? Now that you've gotten over the initial phase, because diabetes is lifelong. It doesn't go away. There's no current cure for diabetes. So these folks are dealing with this now every day as a chronic condition, and every day things change. As we age, as we become more mature in our years, our bodies change, our hormones change, and that's a lot of the problems that we see with the type 2 and the progression is the hormonal changes, because insulin's a hormone.
Sure. And genetically, is this follow through the family line?
We have some genetic, there are some major genetic connections. There's not currently any research that proves, okay, Miss Donna, your mother had diabetes, so you're going to have diabetes. But there are some major and definite connections. And also gestational diabetes. A lot of females don't realize, but if they have had gestational diabetes, which is diabetes during a pregnancy, that will set you up previously for, that also type 2 later on down the line.
Road.
So we see gestational diabetes patients at the center, and a lot of times the RMC Women's Center will refer them, Dr. Barrow and Dr. Schultz. Also, our family practice doctors are very well aware of that, because we like to touch base with these ladies and let them know
that they need to be alert.
And if this is their first pregnancy, then this may follow in a second or third pregnancy as well. So anything we can do for prevention and pre-existing conditions are always a red flag or a warning sign that things can come up later on. So it's very beneficial, I think, to a lot of expectant mothers too, because there again we have the meters there for them as well, and are able to help them kind of transition through that, whether they need to be on insulin or they have some other medications that they're taking. So it's kind of uplifting for them sometimes. So
once again, that they know they're not alone and somebody's got information for them.
Sure, absolutely.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We want to learn more during National Diabetes Month, and Jodi Owens, a registered nurse that's here with us today, so we'll be right back.